Chapter 1. The Dream of Learning While You Sleep. Have you ever seen an advertisement on the internet? An advertisement that promises something amazing. Something like, learn English fast, just listen while you sleep. It sounds like a wonderful dream. Imagine going to bed, putting on your headphones, and waking up in the morning with new English words in your brain. It seems too good to be true. This idea is often called sleep learning. The idea is that your brain can listen to information while you are sleeping and you can learn without any effort. Many people want to believe this is possible. Our lives are very busy. We have work, school, family, and chores. It can be difficult to find time to study a new language. So the idea of learning while we sleep is very attractive. It feels like a magic shortcut. But here's the important question. Does it really work? Can you really become fluent in English just by listening to audio files at night? Scientists have studied this question for many years. They have studied the brain during sleep. They have done many experiments, and the answer in the end is quite simple. The answer is no. You cannot learn a new language like English while you are sleeping. This might be disappointing news for some people. It is sad to know that the magic shortcut is not real. But this is also good news. It is good news because now you can stop looking for magic tricks. Now you can focus on the real methods that truly work. Learning a language is not a magic trick. It is a journey. It is a process. It requires effort, time, and dedication. But this journey is also very rewarding. The feeling of understanding a movie in English or having a conversation with a new friend from another country is a much better feeling than any magic trick can give you. So in this book, we are going to talk about the real path to learning English. We will forget about the dream of sleep learning, and we will focus on the real effective and enjoyable ways to learn. This is not a story about shortcuts. This is a story about building real skills, step by step. It is the story of how you can truly learn English. Chapter 2. The Real Secret: Active Learning versus Passive Learning. To understand why sleep learning doesn't work, we need to understand two very important ideas: active learning and passive learning. These two ideas are the key to understanding how our brains learn a language. What is passive learning? Passive learning is when you receive information without doing anything with it. Your brain is not working hard. It is like sitting in a car and looking out the window. You see many things, but you are not driving the car. Examples of passive learning include listening to an English podcast while you are doing something else like cooking or cleaning, watching an English movie with subtitles in your own language, having an English TV show on in the background while you look at your phone. In these situations, your ears hear the English language, but your brain is not fully engaged. You are a passive observer. Passive learning is not completely useless. It can help you get used to the sounds and rhythm of English. It can make you feel more comfortable with the language, but it is not enough to help you learn and remember new things effectively. Sleep learning is the most passive form of learning there is. Your brain is resting, not working. What is active learning? Active learning is the opposite. Active learning is when your brain is working hard. You are engaged with the material. You are thinking, doing, and using the language. It is like driving the car, not just sitting in it. You have to pay attention to the road, use the steering wheel, and make decisions. Examples of active learning include listening to an English podcast and trying to write down the main ideas, watching an English movie with English subtitles and pausing to look up new words, speaking English with a language partner, writing a short paragraph in your English journal, doing a grammar exercise or a vocabulary quiz. In thesis situations, you are not just receiving information. You are interacting with it. You are using your brain to understand, remember, and produce the language. Why is active learning so important? Active learning is the real secret to making progress in English. When you are active, you are telling your brain, "This information is important. You need to remember this." Your brain then works to create strong connections. These strong connections are what we call memory. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. Can you learn to ride a bicycle just by watching videos of other people riding? It's impossible. You have to get on the bicycle yourself. You have to try to pedal. You will probably fall down a few times. But every time you try, every time you practice, your brain and your body learn. You are learning actively. Learning English is the same. You cannot become fluent just by passively listening. You must actively participate in the process. You must try to speak even if you make mistakes. You must try to write even if your sentences are not perfect. You must try to understand even if it is difficult. The rest of this book will focus on active learning methods. We will give you many simple and practical ways to engage with the English language every day. Remember, the goal is not to find the easiest way to learn. The goal is to find the most effective way to learn. And the most effective way is always active. Chapter 3. Building your listening skills actively. We know that listening is the foundation of language learning, but just hearing English is not enough. We need to practice active listening. Active listening means you are paying full attention and trying to understand the message. Let's explore some active listening techniques that you can start using today. Technique 1. Focused listening. This is the opposite of having English on in the background. For this technique, you need to find a quiet place where you will not be distracted. Put your phone away. Close tabs on your computer. Your only job for the next 10 or 15 minutes is to listen. Choose a short audio clip. It can be from a podcast for English learners, a short news story, or even a scene from a TV show. The audio should be at your level or just a little bit difficult. First, listening. Listen to the entire audio clip one time. Don't stop. Just try to understand the general topic or the main idea. What is it about? Who is speaking? What is the mood? Second, listening. Listen again. This time you can pause the audio. Try to understand more details. If there is a word you don't know but you think it is important, write it down. Third, listening. Listen one more time. Now that you know the main idea and some of the details, see how much more you can understand. You will be surprised. This focus practice trains your brain to pay attention and to find meaning even when you don't understand every word. Technique 2. Listening with a purpose. Another way to be an active listener is to give yourself a task to do while you listen. This gives you a reason to listen carefully. Here are some simple tasks you can do. Listen for specific information. Before you listen, ask yourself a question. For example, if you are listening to a weather report, your question could be, "What will the temperature be tomorrow?" Then you listen carefully just for the answer to that question. Listen and write down keywords. Listen to a short audio clip and write down the 5 most important words you hear. This forces you to identify the key vocabulary, listen, and summarize. After you listen to a story or a short talk, try to say or write a 1S sentence summary. For example, this audio was about a man who wants to buy a new car. When you listen with a purpose, you are not just a passive receiver of sound. You are an active searcher for information. Technique 3. Using transcripts. A transcript is the written text of an audio recording. Many podcasts and videos for English learners provide a transcript. This is an incredibly powerful tool for active listening. Here's a great method to use with transcripts. Listen first, without the text. Try to understand as much as you can. Listen again while reading the transcript. This is where you connect the sounds you hear with the words you see. You can see the spelling of new words and how sentences are formed. Read the transcript out loud. Now you can practice your own pronunciation. Try to copy the intonation and rhythm of the native speaker. Listen one last time without the text. You will be amazed at how much clearer the audio sounds. Now, this process turns a simple listening exercise into a powerful lesson that includes reading and speaking practice as well. Remember, active listening is a skill. It requires more effort than passive listening, but the results are much, much better. By practicing these techniques, you're not just hearing English. You are truly learning to understand it. This is a real step on your journey to fluency. Chapter 4. Building your speaking skills actively. Speaking is often the biggest fear for English learners, but it is also one of the most important skills. You can learn to speak English even if you don't live in an English-speaking country and even if you don't have a teacher. The key, once again, is active practice. Let's look at some simple but powerful ways to actively practice your speaking. Technique 1. The power of speaking aloud. The first step to becoming a better speaker is to get comfortable with the sound of your own voice speaking English. The best way to do this is to speak out loud. Even when you're alone, read out loud. When you are doing reading practice, don't just read silently in your head. Read the text out loud. This does 2 things. First, it practices your pronunciation. Your mouth and tongue are muscles and they need exercise to make the new sounds of English. Second, it helps you remember the words and sentences better because you are both seeing them and hearing them. Repeat what you hear. When you are watching a movie or listening to a podcast and you hear a short, interesting sentence, pause the audio and repeat the sentence out loud. Try to copy the speaker's pronunciation and intonation exactly. This is a simple but very effective way to improve your accent and sound more natural. Technique 2. Narrate your life. We talked about this technique before, but it is so good that we should talk about it again. Narrating your life means describing what you are doing, seeing or thinking out loud in English. This is active speaking practice at its best. You are not repeating sentences from a book. You are creating your own sentences about your own life. This forces your brain to actively search for words and build sentences. In the morning. Okay, it's time to get up. I'm walking to the kitchen now. I'm going to make some coffee. I need a cup and some water at the supermarket. I am in the supermarket. I need to buy some vegetables. I see the carrots. I am putting some carrots in my basket. Now I need some milk. In the evening, I am tired. I am sitting on the sofa. I am going to watch a TV show now. This show is very funny. It might feel strange at first, but this is one of the most powerful ways to start thinking in English and to make your speaking more automatic. Technique 3. Answer questions out loud. Another great way to practice speaking by yourself is to find questions and answer them out loud. You can find lists of simple conversation questions online. Search for basic English conversation questions. You will find questions like, what is your favorite color? What did you do last weekend? What are your hobbies? Read the question and then try to answer it out loud in a full sentence. Question: what is your favorite food? Your answer out loud: my favorite food is pizza. I like it because it has cheese and tomatoes. I sometimes eat pizza on Fridays. This is excellent practice because you are not just saying one word pizza. You are practicing forming complete sentences and giving reasons or extra details just like in aerial conversation. Technique 4. Use a voice recorder. Your smartphone has a voice recorder app. This is a very useful tool. You can record yourself doing any of the speaking exercises above. After you record yourself, listen back. How is your pronunciation? Are you speaking clearly? Are you making any common grammar mistakes? Listening to yourself can be a little strange at first, but it's the best way to find your own weaknesses and work on improving them. You become your own teacher. Speaking English is a physical skill. You have to practice it to get better. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start speaking. The perfect moment is now. Start with these simple active exercises and you will build the confidence you need to have real conversations. Chapter 5. Building your reading skills actively. Reading is a wonderful way to learn English. It is quiet. You can do it anywhere and you can go at your own pace. But to get the most benefit from reading, you need to be an active reader. An active reader doesn't just let their eyes move over the words. An active reader thinks about what they are reading. Let's explore some simple techniques to become a more active and effective reader. Technique 1. Before you read, predict. Before you even start reading an article or a story, take 30 seconds to look at it and make some predictions. Look at the title. What do you think the text will be about? For example, if the title is A Day at the Beach, you can predict that the story will talk about the sun, the ocean, and swimming. Look at any pictures. Pictures give you big clues about the story. Read the first sentence. The first sentence of a paragraph often tells you the main idea. When you make predictions, you are activating your brain. You are getting it ready to understand the text. This simple step makes a big difference. Technique 2. While you read, interact with the text. Don't just be a passive consumer of words. Interact with what you are reading. Highlight or underline. Use a pen or a highlighter to mark important things. You can highlight new vocabulary words that you don't know, interesting phrases or expressions that you like, the main idea of each paragraph. Write notes in the margin. If you are reading your own book, you can write small notes in the margin. You can write a question, a thought, or a summary of a paragraph. For example, next to a difficult paragraph, you could write this part is about his childhood. This helps you to check your understanding as you go. Technique 3. After you read, summarize and retell. What you do after you finish reading is very important for your memory. Summarize. Close the book or turn off the screen. Now try to summarize what you just read. You can do this in 2 ways. Write a summary. Write a few sentences in your notebook that explain the main points of the text. Say a summary. Speak the summary out loud. You can pretend you're telling a friend about the story you just read. For example, I just read a story about a man named Leo. On Saturday, he went to the park and met his friend. On Sunday, he cleaned his apartment. Retell the story. This is a more advanced version of summarizing. Try to retell the whole story in your own words. Don't worry about using the exact same words as the text. The goal is to house the ideas and the vocabulary. You remember to create your own version of the story. This is fantastic practice for both your memory and your speaking skills. Technique 4. The just read method. Sometimes it is also important to just read for pleasure. This is called extensive reading. For this method, you choose a book that is very easy for you. You should understand almost all the words. When you do extensive reading, you don't stop to look up words. You don't take notes. You just read. You read for fun like you would in your own language. This method is very good for building your reading speed and your confidence. It helps your brain to get used to processing English quickly and automatically. It reminds you that reading in English can be a relaxing and enjoyable activity. A good learning plan should include both active reading with a difficult text and extensive reading with an easy, enjoyable text. By combining these methods, you will become a strong and confident reader in English. Chapter 6. Building your writing skills actively. Writing is a skill that many English learners avoid. They think it is too difficult, or they worry too much about making spelling and grammar mistakes. But just like speaking, writing is an active skill that helps you improve in many ways. When you write, you have to slow down. Choose your words carefully and think about sentence structure. This process strengthens your knowledge of English. You don't need to write a perfect essay to practice your writing. You can start with very simple, short and practical exercises. Technique 1, the daily sentence. This is the easiest way to start a writing habit. The goal is to write just one sentence in English every day. That's it. One sentence. What can you write about? You can write about anything. You can write about something you did today. I ate a delicious apple. You can write about how you feel. I feel very happy today because it is sunny. You can write about a new word you learned. I learned the word cozy. My living room is very cozy. The power of this technique is in its consistency. If you write one sentence every day, by the end of the year, you will have written 365 sentences. You will have built a strong habit, and you will no longer be afraid of writing in English. Technique 2, the private journal. A journal is your secret. Private space to practice writing because nobody else will read it. You can write freely without worrying about mistakes. This is very important for building confidence. You can expand on the daily sentence technique. Try writing a short paragraph in your journal every evening before you go to bed. You can summarize your day. Today was a busy day. I went to work in the morning. I had a meeting with my boss. After work, I went to the supermarket. I bought food for the week. Now I am tired and ready to sleep. You can write about your goals. This week, I want to practice my English listening. I will listen to one podcast every day. I also want to learn 10 new vocabulary words. Keeping a journal helps you get used to expressing your personal thoughts and experiences in English. Technique 3, guided writing. Sometimes it's difficult to know what to write about. This is where guided writing can help. Guided writing means you use a model or a prompt to help you write. Copying. This might sound strange, but copying is a very old and effective learning method. Find a short, well-written paragraph in English. It could be from a book, an article, or astery. Read it carefully, then copy it by hand into your notebook. When you copy, you pay attention to every word, every comma, and every period. You are noticing the structure of good writing. Using a prompt. A prompt is a question or a topic that gives you an idea for writing. You can find many writing prompts online. For example, a prompt could be, "What is your favorite holiday?" Describe it. Or, "If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?" Prompts like these make writing feel like a fun game. Technique 4, using technology to get feedback. While it's important not to worry too much about mistakes, it's also good to learn from them. Technology can help you with this. After you write a short text, you can type it into a free online grammar checker. These tools will show you your spelling mistakes and suggest corrections for your grammar. When you see the corrections, don't just accept them. Try to understand why it was a mistake. Did you use the wrong verb tense? Did you forget an article? This is a great way to learn grammar in every practical way. Writing is a skill that connects your brain to the page. It helps you organize your thoughts and solidify your knowledge of vocabulary and grammar. Start with one sentence today and watch. Your confidence and your skills grow. Chapter 7. How to remember vocabulary forever. You learn a new word. You feel excited. You write it down. The next day it's gone. Does this sound familiar? Forgetting vocabulary is one of the most frustrating parts of learning a language, but it doesn't have to be this way. The problem is often not your memory. It's the method you are using to learn. Just reading a word and its translation is not enough for your brain to create a strong memory. You need to use more active and creative techniques. Let's explore some powerful methods to make new English words stick in your brain forever. Method 1. Make it personal. Our brains are very good at remembering things that are connected to our own lives, our feelings, and our experiences. So when you learn a new word, the most important thing you can do is to connect it to yourself. How to do it? When you learn a new word, don't just write the definition. Create a sentence using that word that is true for you. Example, let's say you learn the adjective exhausted, which means very, very tired. A bad example sentence is the man is exhausted. This is boring and has no connection to you. A good personal example sentence is after I cleaned my whole apartment on Saturday, I felt exhausted, or last night my baby cried a lot, so today I am exhausted. Now the word is connected to a real feeling and a real memory in your life. This personal connection is like glue for your memory. Method 2. Create a strong visual image. Our brains think in pictures. An image is much more powerful than just a word. When you learn a new word, close your eyes for 10 seconds and create a mental movie for it. Make the image strange, funny, or full of emotion. Strong images are easier to remember. Example, let's say you learn the verb toe shiver, which means to shake slightly because you are cold or scared. Your mental movie. Imagine you are standing outside in the winter. You are wearing only a t-shirt. You can see your breath in the air. You feel the cold wind on your skin and your whole body starts to shake uncontrollably. That feeling, that action, that is shivering. When you create this strong sensory image, your brain has a picture to connect to the word. Method 3. Learn word friends. Collocations in English. Some words are almost always found together. These word partnerships are called collocations. Learning. Words together with their friends makes you sound much more natural, and it's easier for your brain to remember them as a single chunk. Many learners translate directly from their native language. For example, they might say a strong rain, but the natural English collocation is heavy rain. Instead of just learning the word mistake, learn the full phrase, make a mistake. Instead of just learning photo, learn take a photo. Instead of just learning attention, learn pay attention. When you see a new word, ask yourself what other words are often used with it. You can search online for your new word plus collocation to find its friends. Method 4. Use spaced repetition. Learning a word once is not enough. To move a word from your short-term memory to your long-term memory, you need to review it multiple times with breaks in between. This is called spaced repetition. The schedule. A good review schedule is review 1 10 minutes after you first learn the word. Review 2 1 day later. Review 3 days later. Review 4 1 week later. Review 5 1 month later. This system feels like magic, but it's based on science. It tells your brain that this information is important and should be saved. You can use flashcard apps like Anki that use this system automatically, or you can do it yourself with a notebook. Method 5. Use the word actively. The final and most important step is to use the new word. You have to take it out of your notebook and use it in a real way. The 24-hour challenge. When you learn a new word, give yourself a challenge. You must try to use that word in the next 24 hours. You can use it when you are speaking to yourself. You can use it in your daily journal. You can use it in a comment you write on YouTube. The act of retrieving the word from your memory and using it to communicate is the final step that locks it into your brain. By using these active methods, you can stop the frustrating cycle of learning and forgetting. You can start building RH and permanent English vocabulary. Chapter 8. The Importance of a Routine. We have talked about many different methods for practicing English, but how do you make sure you actually do them? The answer is simple, but very powerful. You need a routine. A routine is a plan that you follow every day or every week. It is a habit. When you have a routine, you don't need to use your motivation or willpower every day. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings can change. Some days you feel motivated, some days you don't. But a routine is an action. It is something you do even when you don't feel like it. Building a good learning routine is maybe the most important step to becoming a successful language learner. 1. Why routines are powerful. They save mental energy. When you have a routine, you don't have to make a decision every day about what to study or when to study. The decision is already made. This saves your mental energy for the most important thing, learning. They build momentum. When you do something every day, even for a short time, you build momentum. It's like pushing a big ball. At first, it's hard to get it moving, but once it's rolling, it's much easier to keep it going. A daily learning habit builds momentum and makes it easier to continue. They create results. Small, consistent actions led to big results over time. Studying for 15 minutes every day is almost 2 hours of study per week. That is over 100 hours of study in a year. These small daily efforts add up to amazing progress. 2. How to create your routine. Creating a routine is a personal process. You need to find what works for you, your life, and your schedule. Step 1. Find your time. Look at your daily schedule. When do you have a small amount of free time? It could be 15 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes during your lunch break, or 30 minutes in the evening. Find a time that is usually free and quiet. This will be your English time. Step 2. Start small. This is very important. Do not try to create a routine that is too ambitious. Do not say, I will study for 3 hours every day. This is very difficult to maintain. It is much better to start with a small realistic goal like I will study for 15 minutes every day. You can always do more if you feel good, but the goal is the minimum you must do. Step 3. Use habit stacking. A great way to build a new habit is to connect it to an old habit that you already do every day. This is called habit stacking. Example: after I drink my morning coffee, I will do my English practice. Example: when I get on the bus to go to work, I will listen to an English podcast. Example: before I go to sleep, after I brush my teeth, I will write one sentence in my English journal. When you connect your new English habit to an existing habit, it is much easier to remember and to do automatically. 3. An example of a simple weekly routine. Here's an example of what a simple balanced routine could look like. Monday listening. Listen to one English song and read the lyrics. 15 minutes Tuesday. Reading. Read 2 pages of a graded reader, 15 minutes. Wednesday, speaking. Narrate your evening activities out loud, 10 minutes. Thursday, vocabulary. Review your flashcards, 10 minutes. Friday, writing. Write a short paragraph in your journal about your week, 15 minutes. Saturday, fun. Watch a movie or TV show in English. No pressure, just enjoy. Sunday, review, rest. Briefly review your notes from the week or just take a day off to rest. This is just an example. You can create your own routine based on your goals and interests. 4. Be flexible and forgive yourself. Life is unpredictable. Some days you will be very busy or very tired. Some days you might miss your routine. That is okay. It is not a disaster. The important thing is to not miss 2 days in a row. If you miss one day, forgive yourself and get back to your routine the next day. Don't let one missed day become a missed week or a missed month. A good routine is your best friend on your English learning journey. It provides structure, builds consistency, and guarantees that you will make progress over time. Chapter 9. The importance of fun and passion. We have talked a lot about methods, techniques, and routines. These things are very important. But there is one more ingredient that is essential for success in language learning. That ingredient is fun. If you are not having fun, you will not continue. If your learning feels like a boring, difficult chore, you will eventually lose your motivation and stop. The most successful language learners are the ones who find a way to make the process enjoyable. They connect English with their passions. What is a passion? A passion is something you love to do. It is an activity that makes you feel happy, interested, and energetic. It is something you do not because you have to, but because you want to. What are your passions? Maybe you love music. Maybe you love movies or TV shows. Maybe you love video games. Maybe you love cooking. Maybe you love sports. Maybe you love fashion, history, science, or animals. Whatever your passion is, you can use it to learn English. When you combine English with something you already love, it doesn't feel like studying anymore. It just feels like enjoying your hobby. How to connect English with your passions. Let's look at some examples. If you love movies, start watching your favorite movies again, but this time in English. You already know the story, so it will be easier to understand. Pay attention to your favorite lines. How do the actors say them in English? If you love video games, Change the language setting of your favorite game to English. You will learn a lot of practical vocabulary related to actions, items, and instructions. You will be so focused on playing the game that you will learn new words without even trying. If you love cooking, find a simple recipe blog or a YouTube channel in English. Try to follow a recipe and cook a meal. You will learn vocabulary for food, ingredients, and kitchen actions. And at the end, you get to eat a delicious meal. If you love sports, read news articles about your favorite team in English. Watch interviews with your favorite athletes. Listen to a sports podcast in English. You will be so motivated to understand the information that you will learn very quickly. If you love music, we talked about this before, but it is so important. Find the lyrics to your favorite English songs. Read them, translate them, and sing them. This is one of the best ways to improve your pronunciation and learn natural phrases. Why does this work so well? When you are doing something you love, your brain is happy. It is relaxed and open to new information. You are not stressed or bored. You are engaged. This emotional connection makes learning much more effective. You are also learning English that is relevant to you. If you learn vocabulary about football because you love football, you'll remember those words because you will see and hear them often. You will have opportunities to use them when you talk to other fans. So, take a moment to think about your passions. How can you bring more English into those activities? Your English learning journey should not be a series of boring tasks. It should be an adventure. It should be a way to explore your interests more deeply. When you find the fun in learning, you find the secret to long-term motivation and success. Make English your hobby, not just your subject. Chapter 10. Your Journey, Your Success. We have reached the end of our reading journey for today. We have talked about many things. We started with the dream of learning while you sleep. And we learned that the real path to success is through active, consistent, and enjoyable practice. Let's take a moment to review the most important ideas we've discussed. 1. There are no magic shortcuts. The first and most important lesson is that there are no magic tricks to learning a language. You cannot become fluent overnight. You cannot learn just by listening in your sleep. Real progress comes from real effort. When you accept this, you can stop wasting time looking for easy answers and start building real skills. 2. Active learning is key. The secreto effective learning is to be an active participant. You must engage your brain. You must listen with focus, speak with courage, read with curiosity, and write with purpose. Every time you actively use the language, you are building stronger connections in your brain. 3. Consistency is more important than intensity. It is much better to practice for 15 minutes every day than to practice for 3 hours once a week. Small, regular actions build strong habits and create amazing results over time. Your best friend on this journey is your daily routine. 4. Make it personal and fun. You will remember what is important to you. Connect English to your own life, your own feelings, and your own memories, and connect English to your passions. When you are having fun, your brain is open to learning, and you will never lose your motivation. 5. Be patient and kind to yourself. Learning a language is a long journey. There will be good days and bad days. Some days you will feel like a genius. Other days you will feel like you have forgotten everything. This is normal. Every single language learner in the world has this experience. Do not compare yourself to other people. Your journey is unique. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Be proud of your progress. No matter how small it seems, every new word you learn, every sentence you understand, every short conversation you have, these are all victories. Celebrate them. You have started a wonderful adventure. Learning English will open up new worlds for you. It will allow you to connect with new people, explore new cultures, and discover new ideas. You have already taken a huge step today by completing this long reading practice. This shows that you have the dedication and the focus to succeed. The journey ahead is long, but you have a map, you have the tools, you have the ability. Believe in yourself, trust the process, and enjoy every step of the way. Your success is waiting for you. Congratulations! You have just finished a very, very long reading practice. That is an incredible achievement, and you should be extremely proud of your focus and dedication. Today we have explored the real path to learning English. A path of active practice, consistency, and enjoyment. I hope you feel motivated and ready to continue your journey with these effective methods. Remember, the most important step is always the next one you take. So for your practice, I have a question. What is the #1 real active tip from this video that you are going to start using this week? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear about your plan. If you found this special guided reading lesson helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Speak Up English for more content to improve your English skills. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Chapter 1. Your first step. Finding your reason. Learning a new language is a big decision. It is the start of a long and exciting journey. Before you learn your first word, before you study your first grammar rule, you must ask yourself one very important question. Why? Why do you want to learn English? This question is the foundation of your entire learning journey. Your answer is your motivation. It is the fuel that will keep you going when the journey feels difficult. Many people have simple answers. They say, I want to learn English. But this is not a strong reason. It is not enough. You need a clear and personal vision. A vision is a picture in your mind of your future success. Let's think about some weak reasons and then let's make them stronger. A weak reason is I want to speak English fluently. This is weak because fluently is not specific. What does it mean? A stronger reason, a real vision could be, I want to have a 15-minute conversation in English with my friend from London without feeling nervous. I want to understand his jokes and tell him about my day. Do you see the difference? The second reason is personal and specific. You can imagine it. You can feel it. Another weak reason is, I want to travel. This is a good start, but we can make it better. A stronger vision could be, I want to travel to New York City. I want to confidently order food in a restaurant, ask for directions on the street, and have a simple conversation with the people I meet. I want to feel independent and not scared. One more weak reason. I need English for me job. This is a common reason, but let's make it more powerful. A stronger vision could be, I want to get a promotion at my job. To do this, I need to be able to write professional emails to my international clients and participate in meetings in English. You want to feel confident and professional. Take some time today to think about your why. What is your personal specific vision for learning English? Is it to connect with a family member who lives abroad? Is it to understand the lyrics of your favorite songs? Is it to study at a university in another country? Your reason must be important to you. It must be meaningful. When you have a clear vision, something amazing happens. Studying English is no longer something you have to do. It becomes something you want to do. You are not just learning a language. You are working towards your dream. Write down your vision. Put it somewhere you can see it every day. Like on your desk or on the wall in your room. When you feel tired or unmotivated, you can look at your vision. You can remember why you started. This clear reason will be your guide and your greatest strength on the journey ahead. Chapter 2. Setting your goals. Creating a map. Now that you have your big vision, your why, it is time for the next step. We need to turn that big dream into a practical plan. To do this, we need to set goals. A vision is your destination, like a beautiful city you want to visit. But goals are the map that shows you how to get there step by step. Without goals, a big vision can feel overwhelming and impossible. But with clear goals, the journey becomes manageable. There is a famous method for setting goals called the SMART method. SMART TRT is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. Let's look at each part. Specific, your goal should be very clear. I want to learn more. Vocabulary is not specific. A specific goal is, you want to learn 50 new words related to food and cooking. Measurable. You need to be able to measure your progress. How do you know if you have achieved your goal? I want to be better at listening is not measurable. A measurable goal is I want to be able to understand 80% of a 5-minute podcast for English learners. Attainable. Your goal should be realistic. It should be possible for you to achieve. If you work 12 hours a day, a goal to study English for 3 hours every day is probably not attainable. It's better to set a smaller goal that you can actually achieve. An attainable goal could be, I will study for 20 minutes every day. Relevant. Your goal should be important for your big vision. If your main reason for learning English is to travel, then a relevant goal would be, I want to learn how to ask for directions and order food. A less relevant goal would be, I want to learn how to write a business report. Your goal should directly help you reach your dream. Time-bound. Your goal needs a deadline. A deadline is a specific time or date. Without a deadline, it is easy to say, I will do it tomorrow. A time-bound goal is in 3 months, I want to be able to have a simple 5-minute conversation with a language partner. Let's look at some examples of week goals and how to make them SMART goals. Week goal. I want to learn English. SMART goal. In 6 months, I want to pass the A2 level English exam so I can apply for the new job at my company. Week goal. I want to improve my speaking. SMART goal. By the end of this month, I will practice speaking for 10 minutes every day by narrating my actions. I will record myself once a week to check my progress. When you set your goals, it is a good idea to have both long-term goals and short-term goals. A long-term goal is your big objective for the future. For example, in 1 year, I want to be able to watch a full movie in English with English subtitles and understand the main story. A short-term goal is a smaller step that helps you reach your long-term goal. For example, this week I will watch one 10-minute cartoon in English with English subtitles. Creating clear goals is like creating a map for your English journey. You know where you're going and you know the steps you need to take to get there. This gives you clarity, focus, and a great sense of control over your own learning. Chapter 3. Finding your balance. The 4 core skills. A language is like a table with 4 legs. The 4 legs are the 4 core skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If a table only has 1 or 2 strong legs, it is not stable. It will fall over. To be strong and balanced in English, you need to practice all 4 skills. They are all connected and they all help each other. Let's think about how these skills are connected. To have a good conversation, you need to be good at speaking, but you also need to be good at listening. If you cannot understand what the other person is saying, you cannot give a good reply. So speaking and listening work together like a team. To be a good writer, you need to be a good reader. When you read, you see how good writers build sentences and organize their ideas. You learn new vocabulary and see correct grammar. All of this helps you to improve your own writing. So reading and writing are also a team. And all 4 skills are connected. For example, when you read a new word in a book, you're practicing your reading. If you write that word in your notebook, you're practicing writing. If you say the word out loud, you are practicing speaking. And if you hear that word later in a podcast, you are practicing listening. One word can help you practice all 4 skills. Why is balance important? Many English learners make the mistake of only focusing on one or 2 skills. Some learners only watch movies and listen to music. Their listening skills become very good, but they are too shy to speak. Some learners only use language apps to learn vocabulary. They know many words, but they cannot understand a real conversation. Some learners only study grammar books. They know all the rules, but they cannot use them in a natural way when they speak. The best way to learn English is to create a study plan that includes a little bit of practice for all 4 skills. This is what we call a balanced plan. How to create a balanced plan. You don't need to practice all 4 skills every single day. You can focus on different skills on different days of the week. Here is an example of a simple balanced weekly plan. Monday and Wednesday input days. Focus on receiving information. You can practice listening with a podcast or a song and reading with a short story or an article. Tuesday and Thursday output days. Focus on producing the language. You can practice speaking by talking to yourself or a language partner and writing by writing in your journal or sending a message to a friend. Friday, review day. Focus on vocabulary and grammar. You can review your notes from the week, use flashcards, or do some online quizzes. The weekend, fun day. Do something you enjoy in English. Watch a movie, play a video game, or read a comic book. This helps you to relax and connect English with positive feelings. Of course, your personal goals will influence your plan. If your main goal is to travel, you will probably want to focus more on speaking and listening. If your main goal is to get a job where you have to write emails, you will want to focus more on writing and reading. But even if you have a specific focus, it is important to never completely ignore the other skills. A balanced approach will make your English stronger, more flexible, and more useful in all kinds of real-life situations. Remember the table with 4 legs. Keep all 4 legs strong, and your English will be stable and ready for anything. Chapter 4. Using the right materials, your tools for success. Imagine you want to build a house. You need tools. If you only have a small hammer, you cannot build a big, strong house. To learn English, you also need tools. Your tools are your learning materials. The books you read, the videos you watch, and the podcasts you listen to. Choosing the right materials is one of the most important decisions you will make on your learning journey. The right materials can make learning feel fun, motivating, and effective. The wrong materials can make learning feel frustrating, boring, and impossible. So, how do you choose the right tools for the job? The most important rule: find your level. The biggest mistake that many learners make is choosing material that is too difficult for them. They want to learn fast. So they decide to read a famous English novel or watch a popular TV show for native speakers. But then a problem happens. They don't understand anything. They have to stop every 5 seconds to look up a word in the dictionary. After a few minutes, they feel tired and stupid. They lose their motivation and they quit. This is why it is so important to find material that is at your level or just a little bit challenging. The 95% rule. A good rule for choosing reading and listening material is the 95% rule. This means you should understand about 95% of the words. This way you can understand the main story and enjoy it. But there are still a few new words for you to learn. If it's too hard, if you are listening or reading and you feel lost and frustrated, the material is probably too difficult. It's not your fault. Just stop and find something easier. There is no shame in using materials for beginners. If it's too easy, on the other hand, if you understand 100% of the words and you feel a little bored, the material might be too easy. It is good for building confidence, but you are not learning many new things. It is time to find something a little more challenging. Where to find level-appropriate materials for A2 learners? There are many fantastic resources available. Graded readers. We have talked about these before. They are books that are specially written for your level. They're the perfect tool for building your reading confidence. You can find them in bookstores or online. Podcasts for learners. Search for a 2 English podcast. You will find many podcasts where the hosts speak slowly and clearly and often talk about interesting topics. YouTube channels for learners. Many YouTube channels like this one create videos specifically for different levels. They use simple language and often have subtitles. Websites for learners. Websites like News and Levels or BBC Learning English provide news articles written at different levels of difficulty. You can read the same news story at level 1, level 2, or level 3. This is a great way to see your progress. The second most important rule, find what you love. After you find your level, the next step is to find topics that you are genuinely interested in. Learning should be a pleasure, not a punishment. Think about your hobbies and passions. Do you love animals? Find a YouTube channel about cute animals in English. Do you love cooking? Find a blog with simple English recipes. Do you love history? Find a podcast that tells simple stories from history. When you use materials that you find interesting, you forget that you are studying. You're just enjoying your hobby. Your motivation will be much higher, and you will learn much more, much faster. Your learning materials are your tools. Choosing the right tools makes the job of building your English skills much easier and much more enjoyable. So, take the time to find the books, videos, and podcasts that are perfect for you. Chapter 5, Learning Vocabulary. In context. Vocabulary is the bricks you use to build your English house. The more bricks you have, the bigger and better your house can be. But how do you collect these bricks and make sure they're strong? Many learners try to build their vocabulary by memorizing long lists of words from a dictionary. They write the English word on one side of a paper and the translation in their language on the other. This method can feel productive. After an hour, you might have a list of 50 new words. But there is a problem with this method. The next day, you will probably forget most of those words. And even the words you remember, you might not know how to use them correctly in a sentence. This is because words on a list are like bricks scattered on the ground. They are not connected to anything. They don't have a home. The best way to learn and remember new vocabulary is to learn it in context. Context is the situation or the sentence where a word appears. When you learn a word in context, you are not just learning the word itself. You are learning its meaning, its use, and its friends. How context helps you learn. Let's look at an example. Imagine you want to learn the word journey. Learning from a list, you write in your notebook, journey equals VAJ. Okay, you know the translation, but how do you use it? Is it a long trip or a short trip? Is it for fun or for work? You don't know. Learning from context. Now imagine you read this sentence in a story. Learning a new language is like starting a long and exciting journey. Now you have much more information. You see that a journey is connected to words like long and exciting. You understand that it is not just a physical trip, but can also be a long process of learning or development. The sentence gives the word a home. It gives it meaning. Where to find words in context? The best places to find words in context are the places we have already talked about reading. When you read stories, articles, or blogs, you are seeing thousands of words used naturally in sentences. Listening. When you listen to podcasts or watch movies, you are hearing words used in real conversations. A better way to use your notebook. So you should throw away your vocabulary notebook. No, your notebook is still a very important tool, but you should change the way you use it. When you find a new word that you want to learn, don't just write the word and its translation. Instead, write the entire sentence where you found it. Example: you are reading Astri and you see the sentence, "The little boy was brave." In your notebook, you should write brave adjective tingivalente. Example sentence: the little boy was very brave. When you review your notebook, you will not just see a random word. You will see the word in its natural environment. This will help your brain to remember not only the meaning of the word, but also how to use it correctly in a sentence. Think of learning vocabulary like making new friends. You don't get to know a person by just learning their name. You get to know them by spending time with them, by seeing them in different situations, and by learning who their other friends are. Treat new words in the same way. Don't just learn their names, learn their stories. Learn them in context. This is the secret to building a vocabulary that is not only big, but also useful and strong. Chapter 6. Surrounding yourself with English. Imagine you want to learn how to swim. You can read books about swimming and watch videos about swimming, but what is the fastest and most effective way to learn? It is to get in the pool, to surround yourself with water. Learning a language is very similar. The fastest way to learn English is to surround yourself with it. This is called immersion. Immersion means you make English a normal and necessary part of your daily life. You might think, but I don't live in an English-speaking country. How can I surround myself with English? The good news is that with today's technology, you can create an English world for yourself right in your own home. Let's look at some simple and practical ways to create your own English immersion environment. 1. Your digital world. We all spend many hours every day using our phones and computers. This digital world is a perfect place to start your immersion. Change your phone language. This is one of the easiest and most powerful tricks. Go to your phone settings and change the system language to English. At first, it will feel strange, but after a few days, it will feel normal. You will learn hundreds of useful words like settings, notifications, call, message, delete, and save without even trying. Change your app languages. You can also change the language of your favorite social media apps like Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok to English. You will start to see buttons like, comment, share, and follow in English. Change your computer language. Do the same thing with your computer or laptop. Every time you turn it on, you will be interacting with English. 2. Your home environment. You can also change your physical environment to include more English. Label everything. We talked about this before, but it is a great immersion technique. Get some sticky notes and label the objects in your house. Put a note that says door on your door. Putone that says window on your window. Label your refrigerator, sofa, television, and bed. Every time you see these objects, you will also see the English word. This creates a constant and effortless review. Shopping lists. When you need to go to the supermarket, try to write your shopping list in English. Instead of writing lech, write milk. Instead of pan, write bread. It's a simple, practical way to practice vocabulary for everyday life. 3. Your entertainment. The time you use for relaxation and entertainment can also be your English practice time. Music. Create a playlist of songs in English that you love. Listen to it when you are cooking, cleaning, or exercising. Let the sounds of English become a normal part of your day. TV and movies. We talked about the 3-step method for watching movies. Subtitles in your language, then English subtitles, then no subtitles. Try to make a rule for yourself. This week, one of the movies I watch will be in English. YouTube. Think about the topics you love to watch on YouTube. Do you like videos about travel, video games, makeup, or technology? Find a creator who makes videos about that topic in English. Subscribe to their channel. Now your entertainment is also your English lesson. 4. Your thinking. The final and most advanced step of immersion is to try to change the language you think in. Start with simple thoughts. You don't have to think about complex philosophy in English. Start with simple everyday thoughts. Example, when you wake up, you can think to yourself, I am tired. I need coffee. Example, when you're hungry, you can think, what should I eat for lunch? Maybe a sandwich. This is difficult at first, but it is the ultimate goal of immersion. When you start thinking in English, you are no longer translating. You are using the language naturally and automatically. Creating an immersion environment doesn't happen in one day. You can start small. Choose 1 or 2 of these ideas to try this week. Maybe you can change your phone language today. Maybe you can find one YouTube channel in English to watch. Every small change you make helps to build your English world and makes your learning journey faster and more effective. Chapter 7. The Power of Active Listening. Listening is often called a passive skill, but the best learners know that this is not true. To really improve your comprehension, you need to be an active listener. Active listening is a skill that you can build with practice. It will help you understand conversations, movies, and podcasts much more easily. Let's explore some simple techniques to transform your listening from passive to active. 1. Listen without distractions. In our busy lives, we often do many things at the same time. This is called multitasking. We'll listen to a podcast while we cook dinner. We have a YouTube video on while we are checking our emails. This is passive listening. Your brain is not fully focused on the English sounds. To practice active listening, you need to do the opposite. Find a time and a place where you can listen without distractions. Create a quiet space. Sit in a comfortable chair. Put your phone on silent and place it face down so you cannot see the screen. Focus for a short time. You don't need to do this for an hour. Start with just 5 or 10 minutes off-focused listening. Choose your audio. Pick a short audio clip that is at your level. A podcast for A2 learners is a perfect choice. Just listen. For these few minutes, Your only job is to listen. Close your eyes if it helps you to focus. Try to understand the main idea. Try to hear the individual words. Try to notice the music of the language, the intonation, and rhythm. This focused practice is like a workout for your ears and your brain. It teaches your brain to pay close attention to English. 2. Listen with a pen and paper. Another way to make your listening active is to interact with the audio. Don't just let the sounds wash over you. Engage with them. Listen for keywords. Before you start listening, tell yourself, I'm going to write down the 5 most important words I hear. This gives you a mission. It forces you to listen for the words that carry the most meaning. Listen for a specific piece of information. Give yourself a question to answer. For example, if the podcast is about a trip to Paris, you can ask yourself, what places did the speaker visit? Then you listen carefully for the names of places like the Eiffel Tower or the Louvre Museum. Listen and write a summary. After you listen to the audio clip, pause it and try to write 1 or 2 sentences that summarize the main idea. This is a great way to check if you really understood the message. 3. Use the power of repetition. You do not have to understand everything the first time. Repetition is a key part of active listening. Listen multiple times. Listen to the same short audio clip 3 or 4 times. First time, just try to get the general topic. Second time, try to understand more details and write down any words you don't know. Third time, look up the new words and then listen again. You will be amazed at how much more you understand. 4. Combine listening with reading. As we discussed before, using a transcript is a super method because it combines listening and reading. Step 1. Listen to the audio without the text. Step 2. Listen to the audio while reading the text. The transcript. This connects the sounds to the words. Step 3. Read the text out loud yourself to practice pronunciation. Step 4. Listen one final time without the text. The audio will sound much clearer and easier to understand. By using these active listening techniques, you are taking control of your learning. You are training your brain to be a better, more focused listener. This will not only help you understand podcasts and movies, but it will also prepare you for the most important listening skill of all, understanding real people in real conversations. Chapter 8. The Courage to Write and Speak. Listening and reading are input skills. You are taking information into your brain. Speaking and writing are output skills. You are producing information from your brain. For many learners, the output skills are much scarier. Why? Because when you speak or write, you can make mistakes, and other people can see or hear those mistakes. This fear of making mistakes can be a big barrier. It can stop learners from practicing the most important skills. In this chapter, we will talk about how to find the courage to practice writing and speaking, and we will explore some simple, low-pressure ways to start. 1. Understanding mistakes. The first step is to change your mindset about mistakes. A mistake is not a sign of failure. A mistake is a sign that you're trying. Mistakes are necessary. It is impossible to learn a language without making mistakes. Impossible. Every fluent speaker you meet has made thousands of mistakes on their journey. Mistakes are your teachers. When you make a mistake and someone corrects you or you correct yourself, you learn something new. The memory of the mistake can actually help you to remember the correct form better. Communication is the goal, not perfection. When you are speaking to someone, their main goal is to understand your message. They are not listening for your small grammar mistakes. If your message is clear, you have succeeded. So please give yourself permission to be imperfect. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. This is the most important step to finding the courage to write and speak. 2 simple ways to practice writing. You don't need to write a long essay to practice your writing. You can start with very small, simple, and safe exercises. The daily journal. We have talked about this before. A private journal is a safe space. No one will see it. You can write about your day, your feelings, or your thoughts. Start with just 1 or 2 sentences a day. The goal is to build the habit and the confidence. Write comments online. This is a great low-pressure way to practice real communication. When you watch a YouTube video you like, write a simple comment in English. Thank you for this video. It was very helpful. Or this story was very interesting. The community is often very supportive. Thecapy work method. This is a classic technique. Find a short paragraph of English that you like. It could be from a book or an article. Now copy it exactly into your notebook by hand. This is not a creative exercise, but it is very powerful. When you copy, you are paying attention to every detail, spelling, punctuation, and sentence structure. You are absorbing the patterns of good writing. 3. Simple ways to practice speaking. You don't need to have a long, complex conversation to practice speaking. Speak to yourself. This is the safest way to start. You can narrate your day, read a book out loud, or answer practice questions. The goal is to get your mouth used to making English sounds and your brain used to forming English sentences. Use a language partner for short, specific tasks. When you find a language partner online, you don't have to have a 1-hour conversation. You can start with something small. You can agree to exchange short voice messages every day. For example, you can send a 30-second voice message telling your partner about your day. They can do the same. This is much less scary than a live call. Prepare for conversations. If you are nervous about talking to a language partner, you can prepare. Before you talk, think of 3 or 4 questions you want to ask them. Write them down. Also, think about some things you want to talk about. Maybe you want to talk about a movie you saw or a book you are reading. When you have a small plan, you will feel much more confident. The journey to confident speaking and writing is built on small, brave steps. Start with the exercises that feel safe and manageable for you. Celebrate every sentence you write and every word you speak. You have the courage inside you. You just need to let it out. Chapter 9. Making technology your friend. We are very lucky to be learning English in the 21st century. We have a powerful teacher. In our pockets and on our desks, technology. The internet, our smartphones, and our computers give us access to an amazing world of resources and tools. If you use it wisely, technology can be your best friend on your English learning journey. It can make learning more fun, more convenient, and much more effective. Let's explore some of the best ways to use technology as your learning buddy. 1. Language. Learning apps, your personal tutor. There are hundreds of apps designed for learning English. These apps can be a great way to build a foundation, especially for vocabulary and grammar. What they are good for? Apps are great for short daily practice. They often feel like a game, which makes learning fun and motivating. They are perfect for learning basic vocabulary and seeing simple sentence structures. How to use them effectively. Choose 1 or 2 apps that you like and use them consistently. Try to do a short lesson every day. Remember, these apps are a tool, but they are not a complete solution. You still need to practice with real-world materials like books and podcasts. 2. Online dictionaries, your word explorer. A good online dictionary is an essential tool. It is much faster than a paper dictionary, and it often has extra features. Choosing. A good dictionary for A2 learners. A dictionary that gives simple definitions in English is a great choice. The Cambridge Learner Dictionary or the Oxford Learner Dictionaries are excellent options. They also provide example sentences and audio pronunciation. How to use it. When you find a new word, don't just look at the translation. Listen to the pronunciation. Read the example sentences. Try to understand the English definition. This helps you to start thinking in English. 3. YouTube. Your free video library. YouTube is an incredible resource for English learners, and it is completely free. You can find videos on any topic you can imagine. Channels for English learners. There are thousands of wonderful teachers on YouTube who create lessons for every level. You can find videos on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and learning tips. Find a few teachers whose style you like and subscribe to their channels. Watching for fun. Remember to use YouTube for fun too. Find channels in English about your hobbies. Whether you like makeup, history, science, or curves, there is a channel for you. Watching videos you enjoy is a fantastic way to improve your listening skills. Using YouTube's features. Don't forget to use the tools that YouTube gives you. You can slow down the speed of the video if the speaker is too fast. You can turn on the subtitles, captions in English, to help you understand. 4. Language exchange websites and apps. Your global connection. Technology allows you to connect with people from all over the world. You can practice speaking with a native English speaker without ever leaving your home. How they work? Websites and apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, and Speaky help you find a language exchange partner. You find a native English speaker who wants to learn your language. Then you can help each other. You can spend half the time speaking in English so they can help you and half the time speaking in your language so you can help them. How to start? You can start with just text messages. When you feel more confident, you can send short voice messages. And when you are ready, you can have a live video call. This is one of the best ways to practice real conversation. A final tip: be the boss of your technology. Technology is a wonderful servant, but it can be a terrible master. The internet is full of distractions. It is very easy to plan to study English for 20 minutes and then find yourself watching funny cat videos for an hour instead. When it is your dedicated study time, be focused. Turn off notifications from other apps. Close your social media tabs. Use technology as a deliberate tool for your learning. By using these digital tools in a smart and focused way, you can make your English learning journey faster, more effective, and much more interesting. Chapter 10. The journey is the reward. We have reached the end of our guide. We have traveled a long way together. We started with the idea of magic shortcuts and learned that the real path to success is not magic but method. It is a path of active, consistent, and enjoyable work. Let's take a moment to look back at the most important lessons we have learned on our journey today. 1. Find your fire, your motivation. Everything starts with your why. Your reason for learning. English is the fuel for your journey. It is what will keep you going on difficult days. Make your reason personal, specific, and emotional. Write it down and look at it often. 2. Be an active learner, not a passive observer. Your brain learns best when it is engaged. Don't just let English happen around you. Interact with it. Ask questions. Take notes. Summarize. Speak and write. Turn every learning opportunity into an active workout for your brain. 3. Small steps every day lead to big results. Consistency is the secret ingredient to success. A small amount of focused practice every single day is much more powerful than a long study session once a week. Build a simple, realistic routine that you can stick to. 4. Make it fun. You will never continue doing something that you hate. Find a way to connect English with your passions and interests. Read about your hobbies, listen to your favorite music, watch movies you love. When learning is a joy, it never feels like work. 5. Be brave and make mistakes. Fear is the biggest enemy of a language learner. You must be brave enough to speak even if you are not perfect. You must be brave enough to write even if you make mistakes. Every mistake is Allison. Every attempt is a victory. 6. Be patient and kind to yourself. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be good weeks and bad weeks. There will be moments of great progress and moments where you feel stuck on a plateau. This is the normal rhythm of learning. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. Your path is your own. The only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. Celebrate your small successes. Be proud of how far you have come. Every word you know today is a word you did not know before. You have started one of the most rewarding adventures of your life. Learning English will open doors you cannot yet imagine. It will bring you new friends, new opportunities, and new ways of seeing the world. You have already shown your dedication by completing this long reading practice today. You have the focus and the determination to succeed. The journey ahead is long, but it is also beautiful. Trust the process. Be consistent. And most importantly, enjoy every step of your wonderful adventure with the English language. Congratulations! You have just finished reading a very, very long text in English. That is an incredible achievement, and you should be extremely proud of your focus and dedication today. We have explored a complete step-by-step guide to learning English. I hope you feel motivated and now have a clear plan for your own studies. Remember, the most important step is always the next one you take. So, for your practice today, I have a question. What is the #1 tip from this video that you are going to start using this week? Is it creating a routine, finding a language partner, or maybe labeling things in your house? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this special guided reading lesson helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Speak Up English for more content to improve your English skills. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. We're going to talk about one of the most powerful tools for learning English, reading. This exercise will help you see how ideas are structured, learn new vocabulary in context, and practice processing information directly in English. Our topic is why reading is so important and how you can use it to improve your English every day. So get ready to focus and read along. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Why reading is your best friend. When you are learning a new language, there are many things to study. You have to learn grammar, practice listening, and be brave enough to speak. Sometimes it can feel difficult, but there is one activity that helps with all parts of your learning. That activity is reading. Reading in English is one of the most complete exercises you can do. It is like a full workout for your brain. When you read, you are practicing many skills at the same time. You are learning new words, seeing correct grammar, and understanding how sentences are built. For many people, reading in a new language seems like a difficult task at first. Maybe you have tried to read a book in English before and you felt frustrated. Maybe there were too many words you did not know. This is a normal feeling. Every language learner has this experience at the beginning. But with a little patience and with the right books, reading can become one of the most enjoyable and rewarding parts of your English journey. A rewarding activity is something that makes you feel good and proud of yourself after you do it. Being able to read a story or an article in another language is a wonderful achievement. It shows you that you are making real progress. It gives you confidence. In this book, we are going to explore the many benefits of reading in English. We will see how this simple activity can help you become a better speaker, a better writer, and a more confident English user. We will also give you some simple tips to help you start your reading adventure today. So, let's turn the page and begin to discover the magic of reading. Chapter 2. Benefit 1. You learn new words naturally. One of the biggest and most important benefits of reading is that it helps you expand your vocabulary. To expand your vocabulary means to increase the number of words you know. Of course, you can learn new words by memorizing lists from a textbook, but this is often boring and it is easy to forget the words later. Reading offers a much more natural and effective way to learn. When you read, you do not see words in a list. You see words in a real context inside a real sentence. This context helps you to understand the meaning of the word much more easily. Let's look at an example. Imagine you are reading Astery and you see this sentence. The little girl was very brave. She was not afraid of the big dark dog. Maybe you do not know the word brave, but you can use the rest of the sentence as a clue. The sentence says she was not afraid, so you can guess that brave means something similar to not being afraid. This is learning from context. It is a very powerful skill. Every time you read a new book or a new article, you will meet new words. A good idea is to have a notebook with you when you read. When you see a new word that seems important, you can underline it in the book. After you finish reading the page or the chapter, you can write these new words in your notebook. But do not just write the word and its translation. To remember the word better, you should also write the full sentence from the story where you found it. For example, in your notebook, you can write brave. The little girl was very brave. When you write the full sentence, you remember how the word is used. This is much more effective than just memorizing a single word. Reading many different types of texts like stories, news articles, and blogs will introduce you to a wide variety of words. Your vocabulary will grow bigger and bigger with every page you read. And the best part is that you are learning these new words while enjoying a story or learning about a topic you are interested in. This makes the process much more fun than just studying a list. Chapter 3. Benefit 2. Your grammar gets better automatically. Grammar can be one of the most difficult parts of learning a new language. There's so many rules to remember. Verb tenses, prepositions, articles, and sentence structure. Studying grammar from a textbook can feel complicated and for many people very boring. But what if I told you there is a way to improve your grammar without studying grammar rules for hours? That way is reading. When you read a book written by a native speaker, you are seeing perfect examples of correct English grammar on every page. You are not reading a list of rules. You are seeing the rules in action. Think about how a child learns the grammar of their first language. Akild does not study a grammar book. Akild learns by listening to the people around them. After hearing thousands and thousands of correct sentences, the child's brain starts to understand the patterns of the language naturally. The child starts to know what sounds right. Reading works in a very similar way. When you read consistently in English, your brain does the same thing. It starts to absorb the patterns of the language. Let's look at an example. You might not know the rule for when to use to and when to use does in questions. But if you read many stories, you will see sentences like, do you like coffee? Do they live here? Does he play football? Does she work in an office? After seeing these patterns many times, your brain will start to understand the rule automatically. We use does for he, she, and it. You learn this naturally just by reading. You don't have to memorize a chart. Reading helps you with many parts of grammar. Verb tenses. You will see how the past tense, present tense, and future tense are used in Astery. Sentence structure. You will see how to build correct and interesting sentences. Prepositions. You will see how words like in, at, and on are used correctly. For example, he lives in London. He works on Monday. He wakes up at 700 a.m. The more you read, the more these correct patterns will become a part of your own thinking. When you speak or write, you will start to use the correct grammar more automatically because it will feel right to you. So, if you do not like studying grammar rules, the best solution is to read more. Reading is like having a private grammar teacher who shows you thousands of perfect examples. It is a natural and effective way to make grammar your friend, not your enemy. Chapter 4, Benefit 3. You become a better writer and speaker. Every English learner wants to speak more fluently and write more clearly. Reading is one of the best activities to help you achieve both of these goals. It might seem strange that a quiet activity like reading can help you with an active skill like speaking, but it is true. Let's see how reading helps your writing. When you read, you are not just learning new words and grammar. You are also learning how to build good sentences and paragraphs. You see how a professional writer or a good author organizes their ideas. You learn about sentence structure. You see how to use short sentences to create excitement and long sentences to give more details. You learn how to connect ideas using words like and, but, and because. You learn about paragraphs. You see how a paragraph usually has one main idea. You see how sentences in a paragraph connect to each other in a logical way. You learn about style. Different writers have different styles. Some write in a simple and clear way. Others use more descriptive and poetic language. By reading different authors, you can find a style that you like and try to use some of their techniques in your own writing. When you have to write animal, a message or a story in English, your brain will have many examples of good writing to use as a model. This makes the process much easier. Now, let's see how reading helps your speaking. When you read, you are filling your brain with English words and phrases. Think of your brain like a library. Every time you read, you are putting more books, more words and sentences into your library. Then when you need to speak, your brain can go to this library and find the words and phrases it needs. The more you have read, the bigger your library is. This means you can find the right words more quickly when you are having a conversation. Example, maybe you want to say that something is very interesting. If you have only learned basic words, you might just say it is very interesting. But if you have read many books, maybe you have seen other words, you might remember a word like fascinating. So you can say the documentary was fascinating. This makes your English sound richer and more advanced. Reading dialogue in stories is especially helpful for speaking. You see how characters greet each other, ask questions, and disagree politely. This is like watching hundreds of small conversations, and you learn the natural flow of spoken English. So reading is not just a passive activity. It is an active way to build the foundation for your writing and speaking. Every page you read is an investment in your ability to communicate more effectively. Chapter 5. Benefit 4. Your listening and pronunciation improve. It might seem surprising, but reading can also have a big impact on your listening and pronunciation skills. The connection between reading and these skills is very strong, especially when you use a simple technique, reading out loud. How reading aloud helps pronunciation. When you read a book silently, the words go from your eyes to your brain. But when you read a book out loud, you add 2 more steps. Your brain has to send a message to your mouth, and your mouth has to produce the sound. Then your ears hear the sound you made. This is a full circle exercise. Practicing reading aloud is like going to the gym for your mouth. The muscles in your tongue, lips, and jaw need to learn how to make the new and sometimes difficult sounds of English. For example, the teachy sound in words like think, and that can be hard for many learners. The more you practice saying these words out loud, the easier it will become. When you read aloud, you can focus on pronouncing the words clearly and correctly. At first, you might be slow, and that is perfectly okay. The goal is not speed. The goal is clarity. How reading connects to listening. Have you ever had this experience? You know a word when you read it, but you do not recognize it when you hear a native speaker say it. This is a common problem. It happens because the written word and the spoken word can seem very different. Reading helps to build a stronger connection between the two. But the most powerful way to improve both your listening and your pronunciation at the same time is to use audiobooks. An audiobook is a recording of a person reading a book. The narrator is usually a professional actor or a native speaker with a very clear voice. Here is a very effective method you can use. Get the book and the audiobook. Many famous books, especially graded readers, have an audio version. Listen and read at the same time. Play the audiobook and follow along in the physical book or book with your eyes. Pay attention to the sounds. Listen to how the narrator pronounces the words. Listen to the rhythm of the sentences. Where does their voice go up? Where does it go down? This is the music of English. Pause and repeat. When you hear a sentence that is interesting or difficult, pause the audio and try to repeat the sentence out loud. Try to copy the narrator's pronunciation and intonation exactly. This is the shadowing technique we have talked about before. When you use audiobooks, you are training your ear to understand spoken English better. You are learning the correct pronunciation of thousands of words, and you are practicing your own speaking at the same time. So reading is not just for your eyes, it is also for your mouth and your ears. By reading aloud and using audiobooks, you can create a complete language learning experience that will help all of your skills grow together. Chapter 6. Benefit 5. You open your mind to new worlds. Learning a language is more than just memorizing words and grammar rules. It is about opening your mind. It is about connecting with new ideas, new perspectives, and new cultures. Reading is one of the best ways to do this. It's a window that lets you look into different worlds. Learning about culture. Every story, every article, and every book you read in English gives you a small piece of culture. Culture is the way of life, the ideas and the traditions of a group of people. Example: if you read a story about a family in the United States celebrating Thanksgiving, you learn about the tradition of eating a big turkey dinner and being thankful for what you have. You learn vocabulary, but you also learn something important about American culture. Example: if you read a news article from the UK, you might learn about the British love for tea or the importance of the royal family or the rules of cricket. When you understand the culture behind a language, it helps you to understand the people who speak it. You learn what is important to them, what they think is funny, and how they interact with each other. This cultural knowledge is very important for real communication. It helps you to avoid misunderstandings and to connect with native speakers on a deeper level, seeing different perspectives. When you read a book written by an author from a different country, you get to see the world through their eyes. A story can show you what life is like for a teenager in Australia, a doctor in Canada, or a musician in Ireland. This helps you to become a more open-minded person. You learn that your way of seeing the world is not the only way. There are many different perspectives and many different ways to live. Reading helps you to travel to new places and meet new people without ever leaving your chair. Reading is fun. We have talked about many serious benefits of reading, like improving grammar and vocabulary. But we must not forget one of the most important benefits. Reading is fun. It is a wonderful form of entertainment. When you are reading a good book, you can forget about your daily problems and your stress. You can enter a different world. You can go on an adventure with the characters. You can try to solve a mystery. For many people, the experience of reading a book is even better than watching a movie. When you watch a movie, you see the director's vision. But when you read a book, you use your own imagination. You create the pictures of the characters and the places in your own mind. Your mind is the director and the possibilities are infinite. So when you choose a book to read in English, remember to choose something that you think will be fun. Choose a story that makes you feel excited to turn the page, because when you are enjoying yourself, you are learning more than you can ever imagine. Reading truly opens your mind and your world. Chapter 7: How to Start Reading Today. We have talked a lot about the amazing benefits of reading. It can help your vocabulary, your grammar, your writing, your speaking, your listening, and your cultural understanding. Now you might be thinking, okay, I am convinced, but how do I start? What should I read? Starting can feel like the hardest part, but it doesn't have to be. Here are some simple practical steps you can take to start your English reading journey today. Step 1. Find your level. As we have discussed, it is very important to choose a text that is not too difficult. If you have to stop every 10 seconds to look up a word in the dictionary, you will get frustrated and you will not enjoy the experience. The 5-finger rule. Here is a simple trick to find your level. Open a book Toonie page and start reading. Every time you find a word you do not know, put 1 finger up. If you have 5 fingers up before you finish the page, the book is probably too difficult for you right now. Try to find a book where you have only 1 or 2 unknown words per page. Start with graded readers. Remember, graded readers are your best friends at the beginning. They are designed for you. They make it possible to read a whole book and feel a wonderful sense of accomplishment. Go to a bookstore or look online for a 2-level graded readers. Step 2. Choose your passion. What do you love? What are you curious about? The key to building a reading habit is to make it enjoyable. Make a list of your interests. Write down 3 to 5 topics that you love. It could be animals, cars, history, cooking, fashion, or video games. Search for these topics in English. Go online and search for simple English blog about cooking or easy articles about football. You will find thousands of free resources. Start with what you know. A great idea is to read something that you have already read in your own language. For example, if you love the Chronicles of Narnia books, try reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in English. You already know the story and the characters, so it will be much easier to understand the English text. Step 3. Create a reading space and time. Make reading a special part of your day. Find a comfortable place. It could be your favorite armchair, a corner of your sofa, or even your bed. Make it a cozy and quiet place where you can relax. Set a specific time. We talked about building a routine. Decide on your reading time. Maybe it's 15 minutes every morning. With your coffee. Maybe it's 20 minutes every night before you sleep. Put this time in your schedule, just like an important appointment. Prepare your tools. Have your book, your notebook, and your pen ready. If you use an online dictionary, have the website open on your phone or computer. When everything is ready, it is easier to start. Step 4. Just begin. The final step is the most important one. Just begin. Don't wait for the perfect day or the perfect book. Choose something today and read one page, just one. The goal today is not to finish a book. The goal is to start a habit. Reading in English is a journey, not a race. Every page you read is a small step forward. Every new word you learn is a small victory. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress. And most importantly, enjoy the adventure. The whole world of stories is waiting for you. And there we have it. A deep dive into the many wonderful benefits of reading in English. We've talked about how it builds your vocabulary, improves your grammar, and even helps your speaking and listening skills. Most importantly, we've talked about how to start. I hope this guided reading practice has shown you that you can read in English. And I hope it has inspired you to make reading a regular part of your learning journey. Remember, the secret is to find something you love and to be consistent. So for your practice today, I have a question. What is the first book, article, or even comic book that you are going to start reading in English? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear about the start of your reading adventure. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to Speak Up English for more content to improve your English skills. Keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to Speak Up English. I'm Mark. Today we have a very different and very special video for you. This video is a graded reader. That means it's like a book written with simple English designed for you to practice your reading. In a moment, the video will change. You will see text on the screen divided into 10 chapters. The narrator will be me, but your job is toward the text on the screen. You can read silently, or you can read out loud to practice your pronunciation. The topic of our book today is your English learning journey. It is a guide with many simple tips to help you learn English more effectively. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. The goal is to practice reading for a long time and to understand the main ideas. This is a fantastic way to build your vocabulary and get comfortable with English sentences. So, find a comfortable place. Get ready to focus. And let's begin your reading journey. Chapter 1. The start of your journey. Learning a new language is like starting a big adventure. It is an exciting journey. English is a very useful language. It can help you talk to people from all over the world. It can help you find a good job. It can also help you enjoy movies, music, and books from different countries. But every big journey starts with a first step. Your first step is your decision to learn. This decision is very important. When you decide to learn English, you are opening a new door in your life. It can be difficult sometimes, but it is always a rewarding journey. To start this journey, you need a positive attitude. A positive attitude means you believe in yourself. You believe that you can learn English. Sometimes, you will make mistakes. That is normal. Everyone makes mistakes when they learn something new. Mistakes are not bad. They are opportunities to learn. When you make a mistake, you learn what is wrong and then you can learn what is right. So do not be afraid of making mistakes. Be brave. Another important thing at the start of your journey is to have a goal. A goal is something you want to achieve. Why do you want to learn English? Maybe your goal is to travel to an English-speaking country. Maybe your goal is to talk to a friend from another country. Or maybe your goal is to watch your favorite movies without subtitles. Your goal is your motivation. It is their reason why you are learning. When learning feels difficult, you can remember your goal. This will give you the energy to continue. It is a good idea to write down your goal. You can put it on your wall or on your desk. When you see your goal every day, you will remember why you started this journey. Remember, learning a language takes time. It does not happen in one day or 1 week. You need to be patient with yourself. Patience is very important. Some days you will feel like you are learning a lot. Other days you will feel like you are not making progress. This is a normal part of the process. The most important thing is to be consistent. Consistency means you do something regularly. It is better to study English for 15 minutes every day than to study for 3 hours only on Sunday. Small regular steps will help you reach your goal. So, welcome to your English learning journey. With a positive attitude, a clear goal, and consistent practice, you can and you will learn English. This book will give you many ideas and methods to help you on your way. Chapter 2. The Power of Listening. When a baby learns a language, what is the first thing they do? They listen. They listen to their parents, their family, and the world around. Them listening is the foundation of learning any language. It is the first skill you should practice. Why is listening so important? When you listen to English, your brain starts to understand the sounds, the rhythm, and the intonation of the language. Intonation is the music of the language, how the voice goes up and down. Listening helps you understand how English really sounds. This will help you to have a better accent when you speak. Listening also helps you learn new vocabulary and grammar in a natural way. You hear words and sentences in a real context, which helps you understand their meaning. So how can you practice listening? There are many fun and easy ways. 1. Listen to. Music in English. Do you like music? Great. Music is a fantastic tool for learning English. Choose songs that you like. Pop music is often good for beginners because the lyrics are usually simple and repetitive. Here is a method you can try. First, just listen to the song. Don't worry about the words. Just enjoy the music and the melody. Try to feel the emotion of the song. Second, find the lyrics online. The lyrics are the words of the song. Listen to the song again, but this time read the lyrics at the same time. This helps you connect the sound of the word with its written form. Third, look up any new words you don't understand. Write them down in a notebook. Finally, try to sing along with the song. Singing is a great way to practice your pronunciation and rhythm. It doesn't matter if you are a good singer. The important thing is to have fun and practice making the sounds of English. 2. Watch movies and TV shows. Watching movies and TV shows is another enjoyable way to improve your listening. When you watch, you have visuals, the pictures, to help you understand what is happening. Here is a good strategy for beginners. It has 3 steps. Step 1, watch with subtitles in your own language. This helps you understand the story and the main ideas first. You can relax and enjoy the movie. Step 2, watch the same movie or episode. Again, but this time with English subtitles. Now you already know the story. You can focus on the English words. You will connect what you hear with what you read. You can pause the video to write down new and interesting phrases. Step 3, watch it. One more time, but with no subtitles. This is the final challenge. Try to understand as much as you can just by listening. You will be surprised at how much you can understand. Choose movies or shows that you find interesting. If you like comedy, watch a comedy. If you like action, watch an action movie. When you are interested, learning is much easier. 3. Listen to podcasts for English learners. There are many podcasts created specifically for people learning English. The speakers in these podcasts usually talk slowly and clearly. They often talk about interesting topics like culture, history, or daily life. You can find podcasts for every level from beginner to advanced. Search for English Learning Podcast or podcast for A2 learners on the internet or on a podcast app. The great thing about podcasts is that you can listen to them anywhere. You can listen while you are walking, cleaning the house, or traveling on the bus. This is a great way to add more English listening practice to your daily routine. Listening is a skill that takes time to develop. At first, it might be difficult. You might feel like the people are talking too fast or you don't understand many words. That is okay. Be patient. The more you listen, the easier it will become. Your brain needs time to get used to the sounds of English. Just press play, relax, and let the English words flow into your mind. Chapter 3. The Courage to Speak. After listening, the next step on your journey is speaking. For many learners, speaking is the most difficult and scariest part of learning English. You might be afraid of making mistakes. You might think that your accent is bad. You might feel shy. These feelings are all normal, but speaking is a skill. And like any skill, it improves with practice. You cannot learn to swim by only reading about swimming. You must get in the water. In the same way, you cannot learn to speak English by only reading about it. You must open your mouth and try to speak. Here are some simple and effective ways to start practicing your speaking. 1. Speak to yourself. This might sound strange, but it is a very powerful technique. You don't need a partner. You don't need to feel shy. You can practice speaking English all by yourself. How do you do it? You can narrate your day. When you are doing something, describe it out loud in English. Example, when you are making breakfast, you can say, I am making a cup of coffee. Now I am getting the milk from the refrigerator. I am putting some sugar in my coffee. Example, when you are walking outside, you can say, I am walking to the park. The sun is shining. I see a big dog. The dog is playing with a ball. This technique helps you practice forming sentences in real time. It trains your brain to think in English without translating from your native language. At first, it might feel slow, but with practice, it will become faster and more natural. 2. The shadowing technique. Shadowing is another great way to practice speaking alone. It helps you improve your pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Here is how to do it. Find a short audio clip of a native speaker. It can be from a podcast, a movie, or a YouTube video. Choose a clip that is clear and not too fast. Now, play the audio and try to repeat what the person is saying at the exact same time. You are their shadow. You don't wait for them to finish a sentence. You try to speak along with them. This is difficult at first, but it trains the muscles in your mouth to make the sounds of English. It also helps your ear to hear the music of the language. Do this for just 5 minutes every day, and you will notice a big improvement in how natural you sound. 3. Find a language partner. Practicing with another person is, of course, very important. You need to practice real conversations. A language partner is someone who you can practice English with. Maybe it is a friend who is also learning English, or maybe it is a native speaker who wants to learn your language. This is called a language exchange. You can find language partners online. There are many websites and apps that help you connect with people from all over the world. When you have a language partner, you can talk about simple, everyday topics. You can talk about your hobbies, your family, your job, or what you did over the weekend. The most important rule when speaking with a partner is, do not be afraid to make mistakes. Your partner is there to help you, not to judge you. A good conversation partner will be patient and encouraging. Remember, the goal of speaking is communication. It is not about being perfect. It is about sharing your ideas and understanding the other person. Your accent is part of your identity. Your mistakes are proof that you are trying. Every time you speak, you are getting better. So be brave. Open your mouth and start speaking today. Chapter 4. The Adventure of Reading. Reading is a quiet and powerful way to learn English. When you read, you can take your time. You can go at your own pace. Reading opens up a new world of stories, information, and ideas. It's an adventure for your mind. As we discussed in a previous chapter, choosing the right material is very important. Let's explore more about how to make reading an effective part of your learning journey. 1. Why reading is your secret weapon. Reading helps you in many ways that listening and speaking do not. When you read, you see how English is structured. You see the correct spelling of words. You see how punctuation is used, like commas, periods, and question marks. All of these details help you become a better writer and a more accurate user of the language. When you read, you can also learn more complex ideas and more advanced vocabulary than you can in a normal conversation. You have time to stop, think, and look up new words. 2. The graded reader method. As we mentioned before, for beginners, graded readers are the best place to start. Let's talk more about them. Grade readers are special books where the language has been simplified for a specific level. There are graded readers for level A1, A2, B1, and so on. These books often retell famous stories like Sherlock Holmes or Dracula, but with easier grammar and vocabulary. They are perfect because the stories are interesting, but the language is not too difficult. When you read a graded reader at your level, you should feel a sense of achievement. You can read a whole chapter or even a whole book in English. This feeling is very motivating. It gives you the confidence to continue reading and to try more challenging books later. 3. Reading online articles and blogs. The internet is a huge library of reading material. You can read about any topic that interests you. Reading online is a great way to learn modern everyday English. News websites. Websites like BBC Learning English or VA Learning English have news articles written in simple English. They are great for learning about current events and new vocabulary. Blogs. A blog is a website where a person writes about their interests. Do you like cooking? Find a cooking blog in English. Do you like video games? Find a gaming blog. When you read about your hobbies, learning feels like fun, not work. Social media. You can even use social media for reading practice. Follow accounts that post in English about topics you like. It could be a travel account, a science account, or an account about animals. Reading short posts and the comments is a good way to learn informal language and slang. 4. How to read actively. When you read, you can be a passive reader or an active reader. A passive reader just looks at the words. An active reader engages with the text. Being an active reader will help you learn much more. Here is how Toby and I, active reader, ask questions. As you read, ask yourself questions. What is the main idea of this paragraph? What do I think will happen next? Take notes. Keep a notebook next to you when you read. Write down new words. Don't just write the word and its translation. Write the whole sentence from the book where you found the word. This helps you remember its meaning in context. Summarize. After you finish reading a chapter or an article, try to summarize it. You can say the main ideas out loud, or you can write a short summary in your notebook. This checks if you really understood what you read. Reading is not a race. You don't have to read fast. The goal is to understand and enjoy the process. Find a comfortable chair, make a cup of tea, and open a book. Your adventure in English is waiting for you on the page. Chapter 5: The Skill of Writing. Writing is the fourth core skill of language learning after listening, speaking, and reading. Some learners think that writing is not as important, especially if their main goal is just to have conversations. However, practicing writing can significantly improve your overall English skills, including your speaking. When you write, you have time to think. You can choose your words carefully. You can check your grammar. You can organize your ideas in a clear way. This slow and careful process helps to strengthen your understanding of the language. For beginners, the idea of writing in English can seem difficult. But you don't have to write a novel. You can start with very simple and practical writing exercises. 1. Keep a daily journal. A journal is a private notebook where you write about your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Keeping a journal in English is one of the best ways to practice writing. You don't have to write a lot. You can start with just 1 or 2 sentences each day. Example, you can write about your day. Today was a good day. I went to work and then I met my friend for coffee. We talked for an hour. I felt happy. Example, you can write about your feelings. I'm feeling a little tired today. I think I will go to bed early tonight. Example, you can write about your plans. Tomorrow I'm going to the supermarket. I need to buy milk, bread, and apples. The most important thing about keeping a journal is that it is for you. Nobody else will see it. So you don't have to worry about making mistakes. Just write. This simple daily habit will help you get used to expressing your thoughts in English. 2. Write comments and messages. Another easy way to practice writing is to use the English you see every day on the internet. YouTube comments. When you watch a video in English, like this one, you can write a comment in English. You can say what you liked about the video or ask a question. For example, thank you for this video. It was very helpful. I learned the word resilient. This is great practice. Social media. If you follow English-speaking accounts on social media, try writing comments on their posts. It can be something simple like, "This picture is beautiful," or "That looks delicious." Messages to friends. If you have a friend who is also learning English, you can practice by sending each other messages in English. You can talk about your day or share interesting things. These small writing tasks are very useful because they are real communication. You are using English to interact with other people. 3. Write emails. In today's world, writing emails is a very important skill both for work and for personal life. You can practice by writing simple emails. You can even write emails to yourself. This might sound strange, but it's a good way to practice. You can write an email to your future self about your goals for the week. When you write an email, you practice a more formal style of writing. You learn how to start an email, "Dear Mark," or "Hi Sarah," and how to end it, "Best regards," or "See you soon." 4. Check your writing. And after you write something, it's a good idea to check it for mistakes. You can use online tools like grammar checkers to help you. These tools can find spelling mistakes and grammar errors. They can help you learn and improve. But remember, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to practice. Writing is like building a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. So get a notebook or open a document on your computer and start writing in English today. Even one sentence is a great start. Chapter 6. Building your vocabulary. Vocabulary is the collection of words you know in a language. To express yourself well in English, you need to have a good vocabulary. But learning new words can be difficult. Many learners write down new words but then forget them the next day. So how can you learn new words and actually remember them? In this chapter, we will explore some effective methods for building a strong and lasting vocabulary. 1. The power of a notebook. A vocabulary notebook is a simple but very powerful tool. Don't just write a list of words with their translations. To make your notebook effective, you need to include more information. For each new word, you should write the word itself. The translation in your native language. This is okay for beginners. The part of speech. Is it a noun, adverb, an adjective, an example sentence? This is the most important part. Do not just copy the sentence from the book or article. Create your own sentence, preferably one that is true for you. For example, if you learn the word delicious, you can write, "My mother's chocolate cake is delicious." This personal connection helps your brain remember the word. 2. The flashcard method. Flashcards are another classic tool for learning vocabulary. You can make them with small pieces of paper, or you can use a flashcard app on your phone. Here is the best way to use flashcards. On one side of the card, write the new English word. On the other side, don't just write the translation. Try to write a simple definition in English or draw a small picture that represents the word. For example, for the word sunny, you could draw a picture of a sun. This helps you to think in English, not just translate. When you review your flashcards, try to do active recall. This means you look at the picture or the definition and U-tree to remember the English word. This is more difficult than just reading the English word and its translation, but it is much more effective for building a strong memory. 3. Learning from context. As we discussed in the chapter on reading, learning words from context is a very natural way to build your vocabulary. When you find a new word in a text, don't immediately run to the dictionary. First, try to guess its meaning. Read the sentences before and after the new word. Look at the other words in the sentence. These other words are your clues. Sometimes you can understand the general meaning of a word just by looking at its context. This is a very important skill because in real conversations, you cannot stop to look up every word. You have to learn to understand the main idea even if you don't know every single word. 4th, learning word families. A very efficient way to learn vocabulary is to learn word families. This means that when you learn one word, you also learn its other forms. For example, you learn the verb to create. The noun for a person is creator. The noun for the thing is creation. The adjective is creative. You learned one word, create, but now you know 4 words. You can see how this method can help you expand your vocabulary very quickly. When you look up a new word in a dictionary, take a few extra seconds to look for its other forms. 5. Review. 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 Learning a new word once is not enough. You will forget it. To move a new word from your short-term memory to your long-term memory, you need to review it several times. A good idea is to review your new words one day after you learn them, then 3 days after, then 1 week after, and then 1 month after. This method of spaced repetition is very powerful. Building vocabulary is a slow and steady process. Be curious about words. When you hear or see a new word, be happy. It is an opportunity to learn something new. Keep your notebook with you, and soon you will have a large collection of English words that you can use to express yourself. Chapter 7. Making Friends with Grammar. Grammar is the set of rules that explains how a language works. For many English learners, grammar is the most difficult and boring part of learning. The idea of learning verb tenses, prepositions, and sentence structures can feel overwhelming. But grammar is not your enemy. It is your friend. Grammar helps you to communicate clearly. Without grammar, sentences can be confusing. Imagine saying, "Yesterday I go to the park." People might understand you, but the correct grammar, "Yesterday I went to the park," makes your meaning much clearer. The secret to learning grammar is to not focus too much on the rules, especially at the beginning. The secret is to absorb grammar naturally through a lot of listening and reading. 1. Learn grammar like a child. Think about how you learned the grammar of your native language when you were a child. Did you study grammar books? No. You listened to your parents and family speak, and your brain naturally started to understand the patterns. You can learn English grammar in the same way. When you read a book or listen to a podcast in English, you are seeing and hearing correct grammar in action. Your brain is a very powerful computer, and it starts to recognize what sounds right and what sounds wrong. For example, you might read the sentence, "He plays football" many times. You might also read, "They play football." Your brain will start to understand the pattern for he, she, it. We add an S to the verb in the present tense. You learn this pattern naturally just by seeing it many times. This is often more effective than memorizing a rule from a textbook. 2. Focus on one thing at a time. English grammar is very big. If you try to learn everything at once, you will feel lost. It is much better to focus on one grammar point at a time. Maybe this week your goal is to practice the simple past tense. So, you can focus on finding and noticing the past tense in everything you read and listen to. You can try to write a few sentences about what you did yesterday. Next week, maybe you can focus on prepositions of place like in, on, and at. When you focus on one small thing, it is much easier to learn and remember. 3. Use grammar in a practical way. The best way to learn grammar is to use it. When you learn a new grammar point, try to use it in your speaking or writing immediately. Example: if you are learning about the comparative form of adjectives like bigger, taller, more interesting, you can practice by comparing two things in your room. My desk is bigger than my chair. My book is more interesting than this TV show. When you use the grammar to talk about your own life, it becomes more meaningful and easier to remember. 4. Don't worry about being perfect. It is important to remember that even native English speakers make grammar mistakes sometimes, especially when they're speaking fast. The goal of communication is to be understood. It is not to be 100% grammatically perfect all the time. As a beginner, it is much more important to be brave and try to speak even if you make mistakes. Your confidence is more important than perfect grammar. With more practice, especially with more reading and listening, your grammar will improve naturally over time. So, think of grammar as a helpful guide, not a scary monster. Learn it slowly. Focus on one thing at a time and remember that practice, not perfection, is the key to success. Chapter 8. Creating your learning routine. We have talked about listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We have talked about vocabulary and grammar. But how do you put all of these things together? How do you find the time to practice every day? The answer is to create a good learning routine. A routine is a plan that you follow regularly. Having a routine makes it easier to be consistent. When you have a routine, you don't have to think, what should I study today? You just follow your plan. This saves time and energy. Here are some steps to create an effective English learning routine that works for you. 1. Find your best time to study. Every person is different. Some people have more energy in the morning. These people are morning people. Other people have more energy in the evening. They are night owls. Think about your day. When do you feel most focused and energetic? That is your best time to study. It is better to study for 20 minutes when you feel focused than to study for an hour when you feel tired. Are you a morning person? Maybe you can wake up 20 minutes earlier to study English before you go to work or school. Do you have a lunch break? You can use 15 minutes of your lunch break to review vocabulary or read an article. Are you a night owl? Maybe your best time to study is in the evening after dinner when your house is quiet. Find your golden hour for studying and try to protect that time. 2. Make a simple weekly plan. You don't need a complicated plan. A simple plan is better because it is easier to follow. At the beginning of each week, you can decide what you want to focus on each day. Here is an example of a simple weekly plan for a beginner. Monday listening. Listen to one English song 3 times. Find the lyrics and try toesing along. 15 minutes. Tuesday, reading. Read 1 page of a grade dreader. Write down 3 new words. 15 minutes. Wednesday, speaking. Practice the speak to yourself technique. Describe your evening routine out loud. Minutes. Thursday, writing. Write 3 sentences in your English journal about your day. 10 minutes. Friday, vocabulary. Review the new words from the week using flashcards, 10 minutes. Saturday, fun English. Watch a movie or a TV show in English with subtitles, 2 hours. Sunday, rest. It is also important to rest. This plan includes all 4 skills and it only requires a small amount of time each day. You can change this plan to fit your own goals and interests. 3. Be realistic. Many learners make a very big and ambitious plan. They say, I will study English for 2 hours every day. This is great. But for most people with jobs, families, and other responsibilities, It is very difficult to follow this plan. After a few days, they feel tired. They miss one day and then another. Soon they stop studying completely because they feel bad that they could not follow their plan. It is much better to be realistic. A realistic goal is one that you can actually achieve. It is better to plan for 15 to 20 minutes of study every day and actually do it than to plan for 2 hours and do nothing. Start small. When you successfully follow your small plan for a few weeks, you will feel motivated. Then, if you have more time, you can gradually increase your study time. 4. Make it fun. Your learning routine should not feel like a punishment. It should be enjoyable. The best way to stay consistent is to include activities that you love. If you hate studying grammar rules from a textbook, then don't do it. Learn grammar by reading interesting stories instead. If you find flashcards boring, try a vocabulary learning app on your phone that feels like a game. If you love video games, play them in English. When you're having fun, you are more likely to continue learning. Your routine should be a mix of focused study and enjoyable activities. Find what you love and do it in English. That is the secreto, a routine that you can maintain for a long, long time. Chapter 9. Using technology for learning. We live in a wonderful time for learning languages. With a smartphone or a computer, you have access to an incredible number of tools and resources to help you learn English. Technology can make your learning journey more fun, more efficient, and more connected. In this chapter, let's explore some of the best ways to use technology to improve your English. First, language learning apps. There are hundreds of apps designed to help you learn English. These apps can be a great addition to your learning routine. Apps for vocabulary and grammar. Apps like Duolingo, Memorize, or Babel are very popular. They use games, quizzes, and flashcards to help you learn new words and grammar rules. They are great for beginners because they are very structured apps for listening. You can use podcast apps to find podcasts for English learners. Apps like Spotify or Apple Podcasts have a huge selection. You can also use apps like YouTube to watch videos with subtitles. Apps for speaking. Some apps help you practice your speaking. For example, you can use a recording app on your phone to record yourself speaking. Then you can listen back to check your pronunciation. Tip: don't use too many apps. Choose one or two that you really like and use them regularly. Second, online dictionaries and translators. An online dictionary is an essential tool for any language learner. When you find a new word, you can quickly look it up. English dictionaries. As you become more comfortable with English, try to use an English dictionary like the Cambridge Dictionary or Oxford Learner's Dictionaries online. When you read the definition of a word in English, you are practicing your reading and learning to think in English. Translators tools like Google Translate are useful, but be careful. They are good for translating single words or simple phrases, but for long, complex sentences, they can sometimes make mistakes. It is a good tool, but it is important to also try to understand the meaning yourself. 3. Finding language partners. Online. As we discussed in the chapter on speaking, finding a language partner is a great way to practice conversation. The internet makes it easy to connect with people from all over the world. There are many websites and apps like HelloTalk or Tandem, where you can find a language exchange partner. You can find someone who is a native English speaker and wants to learn your language. You can then talk to each other through text messages, or you can have video calls. This is a fantastic way to practice real conversation with a real person without having to travel to another country. 4. YouTube, your free English teacher. YouTube is one of the best resources for learning English, and it is completely free. There are thousands of channels created by English teachers like Speak Up English. You can find videos on every topic imaginable: grammar, explanations, vocabulary lessons, pronunciation practice, listening exercises, tips, and strategies for learning. When you watch YouTube videos, you can pause, rewind, and watch again. You can turn on the subtitles. You are in control of your learning. Find a few teachers or channels that you like and trust and subscribe to them. A word of caution: technology is a wonderful tool, but it can also be a big distraction. It is easy to open a language app and then 5 minutes later find yourself scrolling through social media. When it is your dedicated study time, try to be focused. Close tabs on your computer. Turn off notifications on your phone. Use technology as a tool for learning, not as a source of distraction. With the right approach, the technology in your pocket can be your most powerful partner on your journey to learning English. Chapter 10. Your journey continues. We have reached the final chapter of our guide. We have talked about the 4 core skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We have explored methods for building your vocabulary and understanding grammar. We have discussed how to create a good learning routine and how to use technology to help you. Now, let's talk about the most important thing for your long-term success: motivation. Learning a language is not a short race. It is a long marathon. There will be times when you feel excited and motivated. There will also be times when you feel tired, frustrated, or bored. This is normal. Every single language learner feels this way sometimes. So, how can you stay motivated on your long journey? 1. Remember your why. Remember the goal we talked about. In Chapter 1, your reason for learning English. That is your most powerful source of motivation. When you feel like you want to quit, stop and think about your why. Imagine yourself traveling to New York and ordering a coffee in English. Imagine yourself having a fun conversation with a new friend from the UK. Imagine yourself getting a better job because of your English skills. These images and feelings will give you the strength to continue even when it feels difficult. 2. Celebrate your small wins. Many learners only focus on the big final goal. I want to be fluent. But fluency is a very big goal, and it can feel very far away. This can be discouraging. It is much better to focus on small achievable goals and to celebrate your progress along the way. Did you understand a song in English for the first time? Celebrate that. Did you have a 5-minute conversation with a language partner? That is a huge success. Celebrate it. Did you finish reading your first short story in English? Be proud of yourself. When you celebrate your small wins, you show your brain that you are making progress. This creates positive feelings and helps you stay motivated. 3. Don't compare yourself to others. On the internet, you will see many people who seem to learn languages very fast. It is easy to look at them and think, I am so slow, I am not good at this. Please do not compare your journey to someone else's. Every person's journey is unique. Every person has a different amount of time to study. Every person has different strengths and weaknesses. Your journey is your own. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you a little bit better today than you were last week? If the answer is yes, then you are succeeding. 4. It's a lifelong adventure. Finally, remember that learning a language is a lifelong process. Eventive speakers learn new words and new ways to express themselves. There is no finish line. So, try to enjoy the process. Be curious. Have fun. Find books, movies, and music that you genuinely love. Find people that you genuinely enjoy talking to. When you make English a part of your life, a source of joy and discovery, you will never lose your motivation. Your English learning journey does not end. It just becomes a part of who you are. Thank you for reading this guide. You have taken an important step today just by practicing your reading for this long. You have shown that you are a dedicated learner. You have all the tools you need to succeed. Be patient, be consistent, and enjoy your wonderful adventure with the English language. Congratulations! You have just finished reading a very long text in English. That is a fantastic achievement, and you should be very proud of yourself. We have covered so many important ideas today, from the 4 skills to building habits and staying motivated. I hope you found it helpful and inspiring. Remember, the most important thing is to take one small step today. So for your practice, I have a question. What is the number 1 tip from this video that you are going to start using this week? Is it listening to a song, speaking to yourself, or maybe keeping a journal? Let us know in the comments below if you found this guided reading lesson helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to Speak Up English for more content to improve your English skills. Keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.